What's up, everybody? Michael Walsh here. So, after this fight's weekends, I gotta say, give Arman the title shot and give Ian Garry the title shot. Now, bear in mind, I find Ian Garry as annoying as everyone else does. And I was just thinking about the fact that he's only 28 years old, and I was kind of dreading that we've almost certainly got another 6 or 7 years of him hovering around the top of the division. So, that is what it is. But, you gotta respect the guy's abilities, and you gotta respect his confidence, That confidence can border into delusion at points, but I respect a guy who's got, constant belief in himself. I like competitive people, and by competitive, I mean competitively tough people. He's got a bit of that Dominic Cruz energy to him that way, and I do like that. So, but he's the guy for Islam to fight next. It's not Topuria. It's not Morales. It's certainly not Usman. It should be Garry. And bear in mind, in a perfect world, it would actually be Shavkat. Shavkat Islam is the best fight they could have. The size, the stylistic matchup, the fact that Shavkat is a stronger finishing threat, the fact that he is undefeated, he beat Garry, that's all great. And yes, if he were fresh and ready, I would say give it to him. And he was present at the event last night, they showed him in the crowd. But I'm not sure where he is in terms of coming back from that injury. So if he's not immediately available, give it to Garry. Give him the title shot, Garry versus Islam. And that's a fight I'm pretty sure Islam would win. And that win alone, in my opinion, would cement Islam as the GOAT of the sport, as the all-time greatest fighter. And I currently don't have him in that spot. But if he can defend the welterweight belt against a legitimate top contender, which Garry is, boom, there it is. And with Topuria, have him fight Arman. There have been talks of him fighting Gaethje, talks of him fighting Paddy. If he had fought this year, meaning if he had fought again this year against one of those guys, that'd be fine. If in the upcoming December card we were looking at Topuria headlining against Paddy, that'd all be well and good, because then he could just fight Arman next. But since they've been dragging their feet about that shit, just give it to Arman. He won. He didn't take any damage. He should be fresh. He should be able to fight in 2 months if they need him to. Just give him the shot against Topuria, and since Arman is flaky and weird, just have Gaethje or Charles or Max or whoever the fuck be the backup. Easy peasy. Just do that. And they need to do these things rather than the super fight. Now, I've covered this extensively in previous videos, but I'll rehash some of it now. We can't just leap into Topuria versus Islam. It'll be great for Topuria, but it'll delegitimize Islam. Because even if he wins, yes, it'll be a big fight. Yes, it'll make money. Yes, it'll be a nice name on the resume, and it will put to doubt the sort of, he went to welterweight to duck him accusations, which I don't think anyone serious is actually putting out there. Even Ilya isn't pushing that narrative. But in any case, it will be a bullshit defense of his title. It won't cement him as a legitimate welterweight champion, which is what he should be doing. The fact that he didn't immediately retire after beating JDM, to me, in the fashion that GSP did when beating Bisping and taking his middleweight belt, the fact he didn't immediately retire suggests to me that he has interests in cementing himself as the top welterweight. As maybe, it would be cool, it would be very ambitious, and timeline-wise, looking at his age, I don't know if it's feasible, but it would be very cool if Islam's plan is to match his defense streak at welterweight that he had at lightweight, which would be 4 title defenses. If he could do that, if he could say, look, I'm actually even better at welterweight, or I'm, as you guys said, I'm the greatest lightweight of all time. I'm the greatest lightweight champion of all time. I'm as good of a welterweight champion. If that's his goal, that'd be fucking rad. And beating Topuria does not service that goal. Beating a former featherweight, now lightweight, in your first ever defense at welterweight does not do that. Now, if he can defend his belt against someone like Garry or Shavkat, and if Ilya can defend his belt, especially against Arman, the just overwhelming, clear top contender, and someone who stylistically has some similarities to Islam, then make the super fight. That's fine. Then that's, even if that fills up one of his welterweight defenses, that's not the end of the world. But to do it now, would be a Shonda. It would be stupid. And with Topuria, like, he really needs this, I think, in order to keep the ball rolling, because he's been running into an issue, I think, where his top 3 wins, which are just doing like all the heavy lifting for his resume, doing all the heavy lifting for his pound for pound status, for his GOAT status, all these things, they've been getting progressively worse. Okay, it peaks with the Volk win, the Max win is a little worse, and the Oliveira win is a little worse than that, I would argue. And to then go on and fight Patty or fight Gaethje, it would be yet another step down in competition, where it's like, well, what am I learning from you beating these guys? This isn't you like chasing greater and greater heights. This is you just taking easier and easier fights against, people with big names effectively. But if he beats Arman, that might be the toughest fight of his career yet. And so if he can take him out, and especially if he can take him out in similar fashion that he took out the other 3, if he can knock him out in the first couple of rounds, now we're talking. And Arman is, he's short, but he is a proper lightweight. I'm not sure he could ever make featherweight. And again, that's just like that's good setup if you want to say, like, look, I can be the first ever 3-division champ. I'm the legitimate top lightweight. No one at lightweight can beat me. Fuck this. I'm going to go fight Islam and take him out. That is compelling. Doing it right now, it's just not compelling. And he's not going to be the favorite. And he's probably not going to be the favorite in any case. And I'm not going to pick him to beat Islam. But like, it has the flavor, it's not nearly as extreme as this, but it has the flavoring of like, Francis Ngannou fighting Anthony Joshua, or Conor fighting Floyd or something, where it's like, that's like a big name fighting a big name, and this is a big fight. But we're not actually picking this guy to win, And again, that's a very hyperbolic comparison. Ilya would have a much, 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 much higher shot of beating Islam than Conor had at beating Floyd. But to see it right now, like, he's going to be a big underdog. So why do we need to see it? It's just like, why do we need to hold up the division? Why do we need to make the super fight? Hold up 2 divisions. Why do we need to have this super fight? Why do we need to keep Islam from having a much more important defense of his title that will have much more of a powerful impact on his legacy, just to see this when we don't even think the small guy is going to beat him? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if they're both defending champions. It's one thing if they've both taken out top contenders. It's one thing if they both have a solid claim at being the clear best dude in the division. And they're both already double champs. They're both already enjoying multi-divisional success. Then a super fight is more compelling, even if you'd still pick Islam. But as it stands, it would be stupid to make the super fight, especially when we've had these things happen so close together, where we've had Islam beat JDM just a couple weeks ago. We had, we just had Arman win. We just had Garry win. We just had Praches and Morales. We've had these guys winning recently. It's all fresh in our mind. Just book these matchups. Someone like, Patty is not fresh in our mind as a matchup for Ilya. Someone like Gaethje was never even should have been considered. And the super fight is not fresh in our mind either, because Topuria hasn't fought in months. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. And thankfully, I see a lot of people supporting this idea. I see a lot of people jumping off the super fight bandwagon and saying that Islam should fight a contender and that Arman should get his shot, that him finishing Hooker and ending his hiatus, and proving he can make weight and everything, giving us a bit of a scare with the headbutt at the weigh-in aside. He's shown that he can show up. That's all well and good, and now we can get back on track with these divisions. So that's what I've got to say about that. It should be Arman versus Topuria, no ifs, ands, or buts. And Islam should fight either Shavkat if he's ready right now, and if he's not ready right now, if he needs any more time, skip him and do Garry. That's what should happen. Okay, so that's what I've got on that.